Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Sewscape. I'm Carly and today we're going to be sewing this lovely dress from the Burda Style magazine, number 115. It's a tiered skirt with a corset style top, and if this is something that you are interested in, please keep watching. So now we are opening up our magazine and we're taking out the pattern pieces and cutting the pieces apart just so there's A, B, C, and D separate. Now we're going to get our pattern tracing paper and we're going to trace out all the pattern pieces that we need and make sure we get all the notches and all the markings, and we'll cut those out. I like to use a little mini rotary cutter to cut out my pattern pieces, and then we go straight to cutting out the bodice pieces. So there's going to be 4 of each piece because there's a lining, and then we'll start sewing up the center front pieces with the center front side pieces, and we'll do this with the front and the lining, and then we sew up the center front seam and then the side to back seams. I'm just sewing all the bodice pieces together. Now we're going to press everything nice and flat, pressing all the seams open so that we can run a boning casing through them later. So satisfying. And we'll do the same to the front piece. That was the lining before, and this is our main fabric. And now we're sewing up those straps with a 5/8 inch seam allowance. And then we'll turn that inside out. And now we're going to sew the upper cup to the lower cup on the main pieces and the lining pieces, making sure that the notches stay together so we get a nice even curve the whole length of the cup. And now I'm basting the straps into the cup. Alrighty, and now it is the next day. I was sewing late at night last night, so I didn't film too much. But I attached the cups, matching the notches here. I got a little bit of puckering. I should have redone it, but I thought if anyone's looking too close, that is their problem. So I attached the cups to the bodice and then attached the bodice lining to the right side of the fabric, the interface side. And then I left this open here and did a try on to see kind of how it fit and how the straps were, and they are looking good. So then after that, I kind of was thinking I was gonna put in an underwire. So I sewed a little underwire channel here. I put in an underwire and I found it didn't give me the support that I needed. So I might add it later. I might leave it out. And then I sewed in boning channeling in every seam, and I just used my 1/4 inch foot and lined that up with the seam line here. So I sewed a 1/4 inch on each side of the seam and then put a boning casing or a boning piece inside, leaving it 5/8 of an inch from the bottom here. And it is looking awesome. So I did a try on, it fits great. I might just kind of adjust the angle of these straps here. I feel like attaching this at a slight angle will make it sit nicer and kind of cover up a bra strap if I want to wear a bra with it. All right, stay tuned. Hi, all right, and so here's the initial try on, and it is looking so cute. There's a little bit of that puckering under here, but I think that's okay. The only problem is from the side, I got a little bit of a pointy boob, but I think that's okay. All right, so now we're gonna start working on the skirt. So our skirt consists of 5 panels. So we have 2 shorter panels for the back of the first tier, and then 1 longer panel for the front of the first tier that we're gonna gather up. And so we're gonna stitch pockets 2 inches below the seam line. So we're gonna measure 5/8 of an inch for the seam allowance and then make a little notch 2 inches below that, and that's gonna be the top of the pocket. So that's what we're gonna do next. And now I'm just serging around the edges of the pocket. All right, we're gonna press these pocket pieces. The serger always makes them a little wiggly. I love the sound of the iron, so satisfying. Alrighty, so I have these pinned on. This is the front panel of the skirt with right sides facing. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the back now. Now we're stitching those pockets in place and serging the edges down, serging the pocket and the side seam all in one. Alrighty, so now we are going to press our seams. And so we're going to press the seam out. So press the seam towards the pocket. And then once that is all pressed, we'll take this over to the sewing machine and then we're gonna edge stitch right here. So stitch kind of that seam allowance to this pocket, and that'll make it so your pockets don't flap around and they are gonna be totally invisible, stay inside your skirt pockets. All right, so you can see right here, I've edge stitched this edge, and then these are the smaller back panels. I've just serged the other edge that doesn't have a pocket on it because that's where our zipper is gonna go. That'll protect it when it's in the wash. So now we are going to place the front and backs together and attach these pockets together. So we have the front and backs together, right sides facing. And I just have the side seams pinned and then pinned around the pockets and then the side seam here. So I am gonna just sew this on with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance and then cut around. And in the pocket, I'm probably just gonna use a 1/4 inch seam allowance because I love my pockets as big as we can make them. And so we're gonna come sew around this way and then come across and then 5/8 of an inch down. So after we sew that, this is what it looks like from the front side. And so I have the pocket underneath pressed to the center so that when you put your hands in the pockets, they are facing the right way and it's just hidden right in there. Lovely little pockets. And now we are gonna run some gathering stitches, 2 rows of gathering stitches in the top here. I like to do my first one a 1/4 inch from the bottom and the second a 1/2 inch from the top, And that way when I sew it on, I don't have to pull gathering stitches out, because that is my biggest pet peeve. So I'm gonna run those gathering stitches and we will gather up this fabric to the length of the bodice. All right, so we have gathered up the top edge to match the bodice. Important seams to match up would be these side pocket seams with the side seams of the bodice, and then the front center to be matched with the front center. I just put a little pin there and over here. So now we're going to stitch this with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance and then serge the edge and then press it. So I have attached the skirt to the bodice after gathering the stitches there. And now I'm gonna baste these sides together because this is where our zipper is gonna go. So I'll do that now. So I've basted the center back seam together, and you really wanna make sure you match up the waistline so that when the zip goes in, it looks nice and neat the whole way through. And then this is the bottom tier of the skirt. So I just put right sides together and sewed the side seams with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance and then serge the edges. And then I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna serge the bottom edge and just fold that up by probably 5/8 of an inch and then stitch the hem down. And then we'll put a couple gathering stitches up in this top, and we're gonna gather the top length of this skirt to the bottom tier of, oh sorry, here's my cat, to the bottom tier. We'll gather this to match what's already made on the dress. Oh. Not an awesome angle, but my kitty cat, I'm gathering up the skirt panels and she just decided she was gonna come and have a seat right on the fabric. Oh, and how could I move her? Oh, I think she likes the dress already. Oh, there goes the top half. So after gathering the lower edge, I just attached it to the first tier and stitched it and then serged it across, same way we did the last tier. And now I'm sewing in the invisible zipper. I don't have an invisible zipper foot, so I just unroll the zipper teeth with my finger as I'm sewing, and I always turn my stitch speed down so I know I'm doing a really precise job and the zipper is not going to get stuck. And there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to like or comment and subscribe, that would be amazing. It really helps me out, and stay tuned for the next tutorial. Bye-bye.